Hello, good evening. It's Adel bringing you a review of the FTSE 100 for the trading session. The Friday, the 27th of November 2020. Sorry for the last few days, not been on form. Okay, in terms of the markets, it's certainly been relatively quiet in terms of the price action, given the fact that obviously we've got Thanksgiving in America, and obviously they've taken an early holiday, and it certainly seems to be a very boring session, to say the least, given the lack of volume. But we've certainly had some interesting price action today, so let's try and decipher that. Be sure to visit my website, www.inter-market-analysis.com. You can certainly obviously catch me on Twitter as well, certainly feel free. Also, in terms of my live analysis service, those of you that have access to my website, you can click on the live trading service, and if you want to join, just email me. Okay, and you can certainly join and take advantage of the free trial, which is a 1 month free trial where I obviously provide my trades in real time, and I can add you to the WhatsApp group and see how you find that and see if it improves your trading activity as well. Okay, so in terms of the markets, let's quickly go through this. In terms of the bearish factors today, obviously given the fact that we've we'll talk of Mr. Johnson exiting the actual national lockdown and going into tier 3 and tier 2 for the majority of the country, which isn't going to be perceived as being bullish, especially after Mr. Rishi Sunak's bombshell yesterday in his grim forecast stating that it's the worst economic crisis for over 300 years. So that certainly doesn't bode well. 1/3 of the population is currently in tier 3. That's not exactly fantastic, but having said that, London has been spared from tier 3, but the focus will be on the fact that it won't remain in tier 2 for long, but a lot of hard work obviously moving forward. The COVID cases in London certainly are moving higher, okay, and also Boris has threatened a potential another national lockdown in the new year, so it certainly seems to be a temporary reprieve just for Christmas, and obviously everything's back to normal again, which again is a cause for concern. Also, we had AstraZeneca as well. Now it's talking about another potential trial, the results from the AstraZeneca. Again, I've told you all along, certainly very, very, shall we say, skeptical in terms of their results, given the fact that everybody's putting forward a efficacy of almost 94-95%. It certainly seems to be a game that they're all playing just to boost their balance sheets by the looks of it. And obviously, whilst the CEOs are dumping the stocks on the day, and that certainly isn't very, let's just say, filling you with confidence, let's put it that way, okay? Oil certainly pushed lower today as well. Increased supply concerns and decreased demand with regards to these potential lockdowns, especially as Merkel said. Well, Merkel certainly stated that the lockdowns would remain till the end of potential December and January for France as well. So that doesn't bode well at all. In terms of the oil prices, quickly give you an insight here with regards to Brent, certainly pushing lower as you can see. Brent certainly weaker today. The so-called COVID vaccine rally certainly has run its course, and it's certainly run out of air. Now we did break above, and let's just have a look here. Again, previous support equals resistance. So it seems to be at T technical level on Brent crude. Previous support equals resistance around the $49 level. The key psychological 50 certainly is able to be broken, and obviously you've got a gap fill at 53. So just bear that in mind. Okay, bear that in mind. I was very surprised given the fact that we broke through the 47, and now obviously we've bearish engulfing candles since then. So if we do reverse on Brent, we all know what happens to the FTSE 100. It certainly moves lower. FTSE and Brent obviously are intertwined, so just bear that in mind given the fact that it's a commodity index. Now as you can see, oil prices came lower, and what happened to the price of BP certainly pushed lower as well. This was a chart that I took in terms of the trade. This was a bearish pattern I certainly forecast, and then obviously a bullish pattern that I forecast to break out this bearish wedge, and obviously we've had a short squeeze of an immense proportion in terms of the rally. Very, very impressive. I mean, we hit a pivot high of 279. I actually got out around the 240, 250 level, which again, like I said, very, very impressive. Okay, in terms of the actual movement in the rest of the indexes, I'll quickly go through that with you. In terms of FTSE oil and gas, as you can see, coming into resistance, hence FTSE into resistance as well. Quite an impressive rally to say the least. Okay, just bear that in mind. And again, like I said, it's been vaccine euphoria taking center stage. And as we've all obviously witnessed the COVID restrictions increasing, and obviously a crippling in terms of economic growth, the focus certainly seems to be on fiscal and stimulus, obviously, policy. Although the stimulus ECB minutes released today certainly downplayed the actual monetary policy side and obviously emphasising the fiscal. And the fiscal certainly seems to be some wrangling with regards to one or two of the EU countries, certainly, obviously, putting a potential block on that. Okay, I think the two countries, if I can recollect, I think it's Hungary. I can't recollect for sure. There's too many variables for one day. And obviously Miss Merkel was talking up potential, obviously, aid going forward as well. But how long that will have an effect, again, is something to be concerned going forward. Okay, so let's look at the actual technical picture then for the FTSE 100. Let's just bring up the chart. First of all, let's start off with the 10 minutes. Okay, the weekly I've already informed you. We're into that fib. Well, we've actually exceeded the fib 50%, but again, bear in mind on the weekly chart, okay, you've got the fib 61% at 6623. You've got previous support equals resistance and previous horizontal resistance. And the key inflection point is 6490, which we failed to obviously break. Now, if you look at the daily chart, okay, the daily chart, the two key resistance levels you've got here are 6463. Okay, we've got a bullish pattern, obviously consolidation, push higher again, like I said, vaccine euphoria rally over 1,000 points, so almost 1,000 point rally on the actual FTSE itself. Key resistance in the daily chart remains at 6510, 6480, okay, the pivot high on that body, and obviously the two pivot highs intraday around the 6460 zone. Can we break through that, given the fact that we are back into tier 2 and tier 3, and again threatening with regards to a further national lockdown going forward? And also the obviously country's finances are depleted. Will it actually work? That's the question. And obviously we've got Brexit and we're crying over or moaning over fisheries. It certainly doesn't bode well going forward, let's put it that way. Okay, again, folks, do your own analysis. Always, this is just my perspective, my opinion. I'm just giving you key levels here. Obviously we could certainly break through the 6600 level. Again, that's something that can certainly occur. I'm not discounting that, given the fact that the vaccine euphoria and potential overwhelming stimulus package from America could certainly obviously trigger a rally here in terms of the FTSE. Again, let's just wait and see and play each day as it comes and put in your stop losses accordingly. Okay, now 60-minute chart is giving you a promising, or giving me a promising sign of okay in terms of the short trade. As you can see here, we've had an intraday double top now at 6460 rejected. From my perspective now, I'm looking for a H&S formation reversal, so we've got a head, obviously confirm that double top. Okay, looking for a right shoulder, then obviously looking for a flush lower. Now in terms of the flush lower, if we use the neckline here, okay, looking for a reversal anywhere above anywhere around this key zone 6400, anywhere between 50, 61, 75%, etc. Certainly could obviously expect a potential flush lower as well. Any flush lower will test this first key support at 6180. Okay, and then obviously it could certainly be a waterfall and one hell of a sell-off going forward. If you do obviously move lower, 6460 down to the neckline at 6340. Okay, so looking at 130, 140 points lower on that. Okay, so again, it does bring you down to that 6180 zone, okay, on the downside. So just bear that in mind. 10-minute chart, let's just have a look how we played out here. Intraday, we pivot high 6410, rejected very quickly, sold off, tested the 6350 zone before obviously bouncing higher. The key resistance now on the upside is 6375. Okay, next resistance is seen around the 6400 zone. Then you've got 6410 and then obviously 6460 as well. So watch out above. In terms of the support zones on the downside, you've got 6330, pretty evident. Okay, we've got 6325 and 6317 on the downside. In terms of the FTSE, but this sell-off here, very convincing on the back of obviously potential obviously questions regarding AstraZeneca, oil prices overshooting. Okay, in terms of the US as well, the COVID infection rate is out of control, and Thanksgiving is only going to spread it, unfortunately, given the fact that the Americans don't adhere to any restrictions. So certainly some cause for concern there, but this market, like I said, has certainly defied everybody's expectations thus far, given the fact that the Dow hit 30k, printing a new high, and Mr. Trump had to do a potential press conference for that. Again, we all know he's a moron. Okay, either way, watch out for the levels. Okay, in terms of the FTSE 350, again, the reason why I did state that we moved lower, again, I did highlight the fact that we are into key resistance here on the FTSE 350, and in terms of the FTSE 250 as well, Okay, again, we're into that fib 75% resistance. So from my perspective, bias certainly is on the downside, and so far we have seen that downside. So I'll just take that into perspective, and let's see how this market moves. Wish you the best for tomorrow's trading day. And like I said, please be sure to visit my site and check out the live analysis service. If you wish to join, just send me a message. Goodbye now.